Ghost-type Pokemon have always been a very interesting type to see in the Pokemon games. While they're slow and lack a high HP stat, Ghost types are renowned for their ghostly powers and high special attack, and are typically considered glass cannons. From your average everyday ghouls and specters, to otherworldly beings that prey on the life force of others, the Ghost type has a lot of variety. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Paldea region supplements this spooky type, with a total of 10 brand new Pokemon. Of these new contenders, we have some real home runs both in terms of cuteness, uniqueness, and mechanics. And we also have some that fumbled on their way out of the grave. I'm Kyle with Pokebinge, and this is every Generation 9 Ghost-type Pokemon, from lamest to coolest. Now, this list includes Pokemon first introduced in the Paldea region, and new forms granted to older Pokemon. This is not every single ghost type you can catch in Paldea, just the new ones. Evolution lines will be condensed into one entry. And lastly, coolness is determined by a variety of factors, including lore, design, stats, and moveset. With all that out of the way, let's get to the ranking. First up, our lamest ghost type has to be Fluttermane, a ghost/fairy type paradox Pokemon, a subtype of Pokemon introduced in Gen 9. Fluttermane is a descendant of Misdreavus, a ghost-type Pokemon that originated from Generation 2. Despite being a version of a first evolution Pokemon, don't let Fluttermane's tiny stature deceive you. It's an incredibly special heavy Pokemon, and can hit like a truck with its 135 special attack, and just as fast with its 135 speed. According to the Pokedex, it's supposedly the ghost of a deceased pterosaur, which is kinda weird because it doesn't look anything like a pterosaur. And that's kind of it. Fluttermane doesn't have much else going for it. It isn't a really inspired design. It's just a Misdreavus with horns and head tendrils. Its physical stats are abysmal, 55 across the board for HP, attack, and defense. And with such low HP, it invalidates its own ludicrously high 135 special defense stat. Photosynthesis, an ability it shares with other paradoxes, doesn't help it unless it's either under sunlight or it's holding booster energy, which means you have to use its single item slot. If all Fluttermane has is being a decent special attacker for one turn, and being a reskin of a nostalgic ghost type, honestly that's kinda lame. Moving on, we have the Brambleghast line, a fun lineup of ghost/grass type Pokemon that are based off of tumbleweeds, plants that float in the wind when their root structures die. The Brambleghast line consists of two Pokemon, Bramblin and Brambleghast, which Bramblin evolves into by being outside your Pokeball and roaming with you for 1000 steps. The Brambleghast line universally has good attack, with a fully evolved Brambleghast getting 90 base attack, but they lack much else in other stats. The line also boasts the unique ability Wind Rider, an ability that boosts the user's attack when under the effects of Tailwind or Wind Move, like Air Cutter or Petal Blizzard. If you set up your team to really take advantage of Tailwind, doubling your speed, you can have a very dangerous sweeper in Brambleghast, just not much in anything else. Next, Annihilape, a ghost/fighting type, is the newest evolution of one of the oldest fighting type Pokemon in history, Primeape. Primeape evolves by using its new signature move, Rage Fist, 20 times, after which it becomes Annihilape. Because Primeapes canonically die when they get too angry, their evolution into ghost type is, fitting to say the least. Its Rage Fist attack powers up each time Annihilape took damage in battle. This caps after the Annihilape took damage 6 times, leading to it dealing 350 damage straight. Holy Arceus. That said, Annihilape falls short in a couple important ways. It lacks a lot of meaningful resistances to common types, and exchanges out immunity to ghost type attacks for a weakness to ghost, as well as flying, fairy, and psychic. Also, Annihilape doesn't have much in the way of abilities, with Vital Spirit protecting it from sleep and Inner Focus keeping it from flinching. Its hidden ability, Defiant, boosts its attack when its stats are lowered by your opponent, but that requires your opponent to do something to you and therefore is not a self-reliant ability. Also, while Rage Fist is incredibly powerful, it relies on you surviving 6 hits from an opponent in order to reach those obscene levels of attack. And Annihilape has pretty abysmal defenses in general, ranking in the lower ends among fully evolved Pokemon in terms of both physical and special defense. While Annihilape is a little disappointing in terms of its battle mechanics, it's incredible to see such an old Pokemon finally get a 3rd evolution in the latest installment. Moving on to Gimmighoul and Gholdengo. Gimmighoul comes in 2 varieties, a chest form and a roaming form. In roaming form, Gimmighoul is considered a timid little lad, collecting Gimmighoul coins and then running away as soon as a person or Pokemon approaches it, leaving all of its coins behind. In its chest form, Gimmighoul gains more confidence and upon being approached, will possess a target with greed and force them to collect Gimmighoul coins. Its evolution, Gholdengo, a steel/ghost type, is a statue-like creature made of coins and has the unique ability Good as Gold, making it completely immune to all status moves. And when we say status moves, we mean the entire subtype of status moves in the game. So what does one have to do to evolve Gholdengo? Collect 999 Gimmighoul coins. Considering only roaming Gimmighoul give 1 to 5 coins and Gimmighoul chests give you about 50 on a good day, you're going to be waiting a bit for that Gholdengo. And in the meantime, Gimmighoul has the awkward situation of being the slowest ghost type yet, having a base stat of 10 in chest form. Gholdengo is still an incredibly interesting design, you're just going to have to work for it. So happy coin hunting. We're giving the bronze medal of coolness to Ceruledge. Ceruledge is one of the final evolutions of Charcadet. It's a Pokemon heavily inspired by Akuma. No, not the Street Fighter character. Akuma are Japanese fire spirits that are typically drawn carrying swords, and are said to bring terrible misfortune to others. Ceruledge is one of those evolutions that comes to be by having a Pokemon exposed to a certain type of item or stone. In this case, being the malicious armor item. Ceruledge not only looks awesome, with its light blue and pink flames and menacing glare and armor, it also functions as a great physical sweeper Pokemon with decent special defense. This is also in addition to its unique move, Bitter Blade, which is a hefty 90 power move that can heal the user for half the damage dealt. Ceruledge is a Pokemon that is as edgy as its own blades, and that ranks it pretty high on our list. The Houndstone line is one of the big representatives of Generation 9, with one of the trailers being dedicated entirely to it, and it earns our silver medal of coolness. The line consists of the pure ghost types, Greavard and Houndstone. They're both heavily based on the Catlan Sheepdog, a dog breed that originates in Europe, specifically Spain. Their shared ghost typing is also related to dog-shaped spirits, like the Pisanta, a very hairy dog ghost that is known to infiltrate people's homes to give them sleep paralysis. Greavard and Houndstone are very loyal Pokemon, and their backstories only emphasize this fact. Greavard is the ghost of a dog Pokemon that had never met humans and was reborn as a ghost, and hates to be alone. Upon receiving the unconditional love of a trainer, it evolves into Houndstone, one of the most loyal of all dog Pokemon. This good boy also comes packing heat with its powerful Last Respects attack, a physical attack starting at 50 power. It gains 50 more power every time a party member faints, and it will never stop. This counts even when a revived Pokemon comes back from the brink, meaning you could get up to the thousands. Even in an official multiplayer battle, if Houndstone is your last Pokemon, you are looking at 300 power base if all the other members of your party go down. Its stats are also pretty decent too, having base attack, defense, and special defense each in the hundreds, making it a wonderful tank. Even beyond the grave, Houndstone is a trainer's best friend. Finally, taking the gold medal of cool, we have Skeledirge. Skeledirge is the final evolution of your starter fire Pokemon, Fuecoco. A colorful fire/ghost type, Skeledirge is a Pokemon that seeps with inspiration. It's heavily inspired by the symbiosis inherent in Nile crocodiles and Egyptian plover birds. In the wild, plovers will pick at the leftovers in the Nile crocodile's teeth, just as Skeledirge has its own little fireball bird. Skeledirge also has a mariachi motif, symbolized by how it has a suit-like pattern on its belly and its battle style has a strong focus on singing. Its appearance and its ghost typing is likely inspired by Drac Denicoca, a crocodile that was said to eat children in Palma, Spain, and whose bones are said to be on display in a museum. The colorfulness and the skeletal theme also gathers a lot from the Day of the Dead, a holiday meant to celebrate the lives of one's ancestors, traditionally done with vibrant colors, music, and skeleton decor. Now that we're done telling all the crazy stuff this was inspired by, it's time to talk about some stats. Skeledirge has some stellar stats across the board, with speed being its lowest at 65. Skeledirge also shares incredible resistances against poison, bug, steel, fire, grass, ice, and fairy, with 2 immunities against normal and fighting. And if that doesn't demonstrate how rad this gator is, its signature Torch Song attack has Skeledirge using its little bird friend as a projectile to incinerate the enemy. Torch Song also bolsters up Skeledirge's special attack stat, which is Skeledirge's highest base stat. It goes without saying that its awesome design, decent stats, great resistances, and an incredible signature move leads to Skeledirge being our favorite ghost-type Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. But let us know in the comments section below what your favorite new ghost-type Pokemon is in Generation 9, and tell us what we should cover next. Make sure to hit that notification bell and binge our other Pokemon videos, including our full ghost-type Pokemon Good to Evil video. We'll see you next time.